Happy Easter Monday, everybody. Let's dive right into part 2, chapter 6, which is called Do Your Job and Do It Right. So the chapter begins by talking about a couple of presidents. It talks about President Andrew Johnson and James Garfield. And it wasn't talking about what they did during their presidency or anything beyond that. It was really way before that in some of their early careers that eventually got them to where it was that they ended up. And it talked about Andrew Johnson, how he started off as a tailor, really tailoring people's suits, and James Garfield, who started out as a custodian. And the premise behind getting and detailing out exactly what their histories were and how they got to become presidents was talking about they didn't start with these extravagant jobs or anything like that. They started off by being part of the working class, and it wasn't what they were doing, but it was the approach and how they did it and the importance that they took their jobs and the seriousness that they approached their jobs with, and they wanted to be the best at it. And if you would ask them, and frequently people did, like they would proclaim that they were. And like Andrew Johnson talking about his abilities as a tailor was saying that like he was the best there was, and that anybody's suits or clothing that he tailored fit to extreme perfection. And the same thing with James Garfield. Everything that he touched, everything that he was responsible for cleaning turned out to be magnificent and cleaner, way cleaner than anybody else could have possibly done it. So that's just not talking about what they did, but their approach and wanting to be the best at it. And that humbleness as a beginning, that humble poverty for both of them turned into power. And it really gets into the whole premise of this chapter, talking about every single thing that we do matters. Every single thing that we do is a reflection of ourselves. And I know we say it all the time. Coach Arth constantly preaches it, that how we do anything is how we do everything. How we do anything at all, whether it's as simple as taking out the trash, pushing in our chairs. How we do anything is how we do everything. And that's so important. And that's why whenever we tie it into action, which is all about part 2, like our actions need to be our priorities, and we need to take that into consideration. And whenever we do, when we put that at the forefront of our actions, and how important that doing something as small as, like I said, pushing in your chair, how that can train us to much bigger things and lead us to ultimately better results as human beings. And like it's all part of the training that we're trying to get to. And they give an example in this chapter talking about a guy by the name of Steve Jobs. And I know we talked about him in part 1 when we were dealing with perception and people being able to pull out more than they ever thought they were capable of. And it goes into talking about how he was designing the iPhones. And it wasn't, he was even going into the details of how important it was to make the insides just as important as it did as the appearance of the outsides, even though nobody would see the inside of an iPhone. And when people would ask him why, he would often refer to his father being a carpenter and saying just the importance of every little thing. And I think that just shows to the unique ability that he possessed in order to create his innovation on such products like the iPhone and really Macintosh and the whole company as a whole, Apple in general. And like people like that, you don't get to that level if you shortcut things that you'll know about. Like that's why every little thing matters and every situation matters. They're always asking us a question. It's like every question that we get, our actions are going to be answering it. So whenever we get posed with a question or why are you taking care of the inside of an iPhone that nobody is going to see, it's because it does mean something to you. And it's how you do anything is how you do everything. And that stuff translates. So if you want to be the best version of yourself, you got to start by doing it on a day-to-day with every little thing that you do, because that matters. Do your job, do it right, to the best of your ability. That's chapter 6. We'll get right into chapter 7 tomorrow. All right, guys.